Right, welcome to another episode, and we are recording from somewhere different again. Recently it was Dubai, and now we're in Hong Kong recording. Matt, why don't you give a little introduction to why we're here recording the podcast from lovely Hong Kong?
Yeah, so obviously it's good to be here. As you said, Toby, we've been here, there and everywhere recently, it feels like. But for good reasons. Obviously, I'm not sure if some of the listeners may know, but we do have a Hong Kong office over here as well. We've got a team as well set up. Obviously, we've had the lovely Tina who's worked with us for a couple of years, and we've got another team member, Wing, who's out here permanently. So it's been more so to meet some of the clients out here, get some face-to-face. Obviously, we do know within Hong Kong, that's really important for clients to feel kind of at ease, meet the directors. Obviously, I know you and Nick were here earlier on in the year as well, which has been great.
Yeah, that seems this year has gone so quickly. We're in November already, and it was only back in February, I think, me and Nick were here. And I think we recorded a podcast episode from Hong Kong last time as well. Nice. Yeah, just sort of detailing our expansion into Hong Kong, which is really exciting times. But yeah, exactly like you said, we're here on business.
Yep.
Bit of pleasure in terms of eating some nice food and
lovely food, yeah.
But not too much time for that because our schedules have been jam-packed.
Absolutely.
Which is good because it just shows that there's still the appetite and demand for UK property investing out here in Hong Kong. So yeah, we've had lots of back-to-back meetings with clients, also some business meetings as well with partners and developers, etc., that operate in the UK, which is great. But yeah, it's been really good to meet the clients face to face, like you said.
Yes.
Especially when they're investing overseas, the Hong Kong clients or the expats that are out here in Hong Kong as well are really sort of, I think, thankful, and they benefit from meeting us face to face because investing remotely is always daunting because you're not there on the ground. You speak to a lot of people over the phone. We have got Zoom, of course, which is great because you can virtually meet face to face. But I think that in-person meeting is invaluable, and I've definitely noticed that. And the one thing I love as well when we're out here is how the clients we are meeting are so enthusiastic to hear about the UK property market, even though they're keeping tabs. And quite a few of them have actually been with Track Capital and following Track Capital for a number of months and some a number of years, and been in the loop with the property market. But when we're here talking to them directly, they really, I think, thrive on hearing the sort of live, up-to-date market scenario for the UK property market, because being overseas, again, they get a good picture but not the full picture.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's just as you mentioned there, Toby, I think it's been really interesting to meet clients. Obviously, we do that in the UK with some of the team members as well. But what I have found is, as you said, Toby, very enthusiastic, wanting to learn about the market, and just I guess from an insider point of view, from what we're seeing, etc. But I think one thing I have noticed is, as you, I know you and Nick came earlier, and I know you had obviously some meetings in that period of time. But as you said, we've had a very busy and tight schedule, which has been great. But potentially, do you want to give the viewers maybe an insight into maybe what our future plans are with Hong Kong and what we kind of plan to do? Obviously, we looked at growing out the team potentially, or
obviously the purpose of the trip here was to come meet clients, partners and developers that we work with that operate in the UK but based out here, and that was the plan. But also to start looking at the opportunity to hold events out here, because again, it's very important to be sort of giving information, education, forecast data about the UK property market to help the people out here to be able to invest in the UK, obviously being overseas. So yeah, the next plan, hopefully early next year, will be we're looking to hold an event here. So for people based out here, whether that's people that are originally from the UK expats, or the local sort of Hong Kong clients as well, they'll be able to obviously come to the event. We can demonstrate all the information we have on the UK property market, where we're looking at investment for property at the moment and the locations, and be able to hold like a really nice event, beneficial for them, so they can again see us in person, can ask us questions, and I think it'd be great. I'm really looking forward to that, because as I said, the response we've had so far while out here, again, has been really, really good, and we don't see that slowing down, and it's really promising to see that the appetite's still there. A lot of investors, we get quite a few people looking to relocate to the UK as well, which we're able to assist with. I know we're predominantly an investment company selling the investment properties in the UK, but that said, we are able to assist where people do want to relocate. We can assist with them. The Tina and Wing, very, very good at that, very diligent and very well adapted to be able to do that for their clients, and they have done so far and get glowing feedback and responses, which is really good to see.
Yeah, really, really good. As we said, we've met some of Tina's clients and Wing's clients who are actually relocating, aren't they? They're going in the next couple of months over to the UK, and we've sourced them property over there to find them, make sure it's obviously somewhere that's going to be ideal for where they're going. I know they've visited and seen the sites, etc. So yeah, it's really good to meet the investors, and I think as well, as soon as you lock in that trust with the Hong Kong investors, they really do they kind of will give you exactly a real insight into kind of their budget, what they're looking to do, future plans, and I do think that also helps with future investments, because a lot of the relationships, obviously we know this is the same in the UK and across most relationships, but we know the Hong Kong buyers are very diligent. They want to know exactly, which is really, really, really good, and we, if anything, we prefer that, don't we?
Yeah, we love seeing sort of the diligence sort of side of investors. It's really, really good to see. It's quite helpful as well, because they'll do a lot of research themselves. They'll help validate a lot of the stuff that and information we give them, which again it makes their decision making process a lot easier as well. But yeah, it's really good to see that side of it. I mean, what have you noticed so far with the investors? Have you noticed sort of locations, the ones that you've been speaking to, that they're sort of focusing on at the moment?
Yeah, I'd say, to be fair, a lot of the investors naturally, like most overseas, will always have a liking towards the London area, which is very common. Obviously, we know it's one of the most well-known international cities across the world. So in terms of that, which, look, with the London market is, as you said, I think we spoke to a couple of investors about this, in the medium to long term, we still generally think it's always going to be a solid market. But if anything, I think it's been quite good as well, because some of the investors are hearing about places like Manchester, and obviously we've got some good partnerships over here as well with contacts, which I think a lot of the Hong Kong buyers have had an insight over the past couple of years to a couple of really good developments in Manchester, which is I feel as though a lot of the Hong Kong investors that we speak to, they're much more familiar with areas London and Manchester, I would personally say, from what I've listened into and obviously been in the meetings, which is great, because obviously we deal obviously more so with the Manchester side of the market, because that's an area that we know, we're familiar, we've got loads of developers there. And if anything, obviously a lot of them are bought into early phases where the development's really performed. I mean, we know Manchester over the past couple of years has really taken off, so you can see why Hong Kong investors have been really happy and are continuing to buy through some of the top developers in Manchester that we also work with. Yeah,
I think it's been good this time around. What I think's been refreshing is that they're actually they know London, of course. They know Manchester and Birmingham are probably the ones that they know quite well. But then they're also now, when we're visiting this time, saying, well, look, where do you think? Or where else can we look? Which is quite good. I think they're sort of understanding how markets do change, how they move, and they've obviously seen how Manchester's changed and how much it's grown, and they're thinking, well, where can we find the next one of that? But that also comes down to them trusting us as well. Like you said, building that trust and that relationship, I think's key.
Absolutely.
And I think the way we've been able to do that so well is having that bridge between the UK and Hong Kong, to have people on the ground in the UK and Hong Kong.
Massive difference.
So if they need to visit the UK, they can come see us face to face. If they want to see someone on the ground here, they can see us in Hong Kong. Similar to the Dubai side, when we've got UK investors investing in Dubai, that trust is easier to build because we have a presence in both locations. So I think that's massive, especially when investing overseas. As I keep saying, it's important to have that part of the relationship, I think. trust in that sense, because you're parting with a lot of money.
Exactly.
And there is only so much you can do with, like I said, Zoom and remote. Some people are obviously absolutely fine.
And there's not.
Look at the numbers, happy with the brochures. They'll obviously do the due diligence on the back end and where they are, and they'll be happy with that. But a high number, and rightly so, they do want that element of sort of trust being built with that sort of gap. And the bridge being shortened by having a presence in both locations.
Absolutely. And I'd say as well, once that trust is built, as I said, it has led to, I know, for example, Tina, who also has had obviously someone buy through her, and now she's getting the buyer's friends are now interested. And we found obviously that's a big thing, which we know across the UK, a lot of the team, and obviously luckily the relationships that we have with our own clients, a lot of people do seem to want to buy more for us, which is always great to hear that they want to kind of stick with Track Capital, invest with us for the future. But in terms of that, we're finding that trust going a long way in Hong Kong, obviously, which we have seen. So no, I think it's an exciting trip. I think we've got some big plans as well coming, as you said, potentially with some events, etc., which I do think will be definitely our next step, because I think we're here for 5 days in total, and across
I think
over loads of meetings.
The demand definitely warrants it, I think, now, because obviously this is my second time this year, and this time has been a lot busier, a lot full on back to back. Like, we haven't stopped, which is really, really good. But I think that just shows that for us as a company, the demand is there, and there is a need to do that. So I am looking forward to that. And like you said, we're now seeing the fruits of our labour in terms of how we operate and how we deal with clients. Means we get repeat business, and then referrals, like you just mentioned. Tina's friends are now Tina's clients' friends, are now saying, okay, I like what you've done for them, can you assist me? Which is really really great to see.
It goes a long way, doesn't it, in business, in terms of that word of mouth. Obviously we do know a lot of businesses in general or obviously have the advertising there, but I feel like that's one thing that we've always managed to do, especially with the Hong Kong as well, which we've seen now. Is in Hong Kong, it does go a long way if you have a trusted partner.
And they're very very savvy out here in terms of investing. I mean, one of the hesitancies recently in Hong Kong when investing in the UK has of course been quite similar to UK investors, the mortgage rates. So that's definitely sort of dampened some of their appetite. But again, they're quite savvy in the sense of they go, okay, the mortgage rates are a little bit high now, and they are actually really big on buying off plan. I mean, they're used to it anyway. Generally, they like buying in developments early off plan, but now they're looking at it and saying, well, look, actually, right now, the mortgage rate isn't as favourable, so let's buy off plan. And again, they're anticipating the market. They're forecasting that it should get a bit easier and mortgage rates should come down in a year or 2 years' time. So they're thinking, well, look, if we secure a great investment in a good location and great location now, by the time it comes to completion, rates will be better, and we'll have a great asset, and we can take a mortgage on leverage if they need to, and then still have great income and making good returns, which is very interesting.
Well, I think as well what they've seen within their own market, within the Hong Kong market, the property side of things. I know we spoke to one of the clients, and over 10 years ago, obviously the Hong Kong market was booming, and they were buying off plan. They were getting in early, benefiting from obviously the uplift. And as you said, and we do speak about time and again, they've just shifted where they're now putting their money. And the good thing is, which I think a lot of them really like, is the fact that the UK market has got that kind of cycle that they can understand. It's got the track record behind it, which I do believe it goes a long way. But what else I would say as well, Toby, we've seen a little bit of a liking for some, not all investors, into the Dubai market, right? From Hong Kong.
Again, I used the word a few moments ago. They are savvy, so they're very good at picking up on trends and markets when they start emerging. And Dubai is definitely on the radar out here, and that has been really interesting to see them asking the questions about Dubai. A lot of investors out here we've been speaking to, predominantly about the UK investments, they're actually saying, well, look, could we have a separate meeting about Dubai, which we're obviously setting up for them, because they are seeing the growth take place there. They're looking at the economy there, how the Dubai city is just growing in general, and of course they're seeing it, they're looking at the data and the facts, and they're saying, well, looks quite interesting. Can we potentially get in there? So I think that's quite good to see that they're shifting their focus. And again, a lot of the investors we're seeing on that side, they've actually they've already got maybe a small or even a large portfolio in the UK already, and they're looking at diversification as well.
That's what I was going to go on to, is the fact that you can diverse the portfolio, look into multiple options across. And I mean, a lot of the guys that we've been dealing with as well, they've got multiple investments around the world. It's not even just in one location, but yet obviously, as you said, that they're very savvy in the way that they're looking at the markets, strategically kind of picking when and what time frames to pick up on these. So yeah, I think overall it's obviously been a really exciting trip, and as I said, I'm sure we'll do more here in terms of business wise. And I think the main thing for me as well has been how good in general the meetings have been. Like every single meeting, so good in terms of the way they're wanting to learn and find out more. And as you said, just the trust. And
I think that's the thing. They utilise us being there in person and speaking to them, which I think sometimes people in the UK take for granted.
Absolutely.
We always offer obviously face-to-face meetings, and we always say, look, you can come visit us any point. We can go meet you on sites. And I think when they're in the UK, investors probably do take it a bit for granted because they are in the UK, so it's not as much as a necessity, but I do think it's very, very important. Just again, building that relationship, building up that trust, and again, it's just sometimes nice to sit opposite each other, have a good conversation about property, just stuff in general, plans, and you can really sort of thrash stuff out in that meeting, and it can be very, very productive. So again, anybody that's in the UK that wants to utilise us and have meetings with us, more than welcome to come to our office at Canary Wharf. We can come meet them. We can meet them on site if they're interested in a particular development. We can go to site with them, meet them there. And I think it's very, very important. We saw the same when we were in Dubai. Obviously, we had meetings in Dubai, similar with clients out there, and again, they appreciate that. So I think that's definitely a big thing we'll continue to push, and probably push a bit more now in the UK. Because I think we have lost a bit of that face-to-face side of things since COVID.
I agree. I think in terms of that, I'd say as well, one point to pinpoint I'd like to highlight as well is about the Hong Kong side of things, is the fact that they're realising that it can be a completely hands-off process if they want, which is something that we always get a lot of questions, right? Is there a letting? Who takes on the lettings after? Is it do you sell it and then you're out of the picture?
I had, how much headache is it yesterday? How much headache do you have? And I was like, oh, don't worry, we can take care of all that. We'll have the headache. You just have you have the returns and the money. We'll have the headache for you. Don't worry.
Which I think is really good because, as I said, once again going back to that trust element, it's knowing that we can kind of take care whether you're if you're buying off plan, for example, obviously finding a suitable option that fits their criteria. After that, of course, going through the after sales process, which obviously we have an after sales team that we're able to fully look after them, which is going to be new to a lot of the Hong Kong buyers in general, because the UK side of solicitors and going through that it can be nice to have a hand-holding experience and one of the team to be able to help. So that's always good, and as we always know, the construction updates that come with it, and then going through, obviously, if you need a mortgage, we've got the mortgage brokers. And then
accountants. So a big thing that I've definitely noticed this time is the accountants, because a lot of the clients we're speaking to have got portfolios, quite sizable ones, or they've got sort of a few in their portfolio and then looking to aggressively expand over the coming years. And again, just talking to them about, look, speak to an accountant based in the UK who's got the property experience. You can build that property portfolio in a tax efficient way, because it's very, very important to do so, because you need to plan ahead for that. You don't want to leave that to the last minute, or you don't want to invest incorrectgetly now, which will then cause you more harm than good later down the line because you haven't structured it correctly in a tax efficient way. So that's, again, we're getting a lot of clients now which we're introducing to the accountants that we have relationships with in the UK.
And I know as well, you mentioned as well, actually, the fact of it will save you money in the long run, which we always know at the time, paying for a good service or making sure, as you said, like the structure is in place. And that's not only for Hong Kong buyers, that's for UK buyers as well. Having that structure from the outset, especially if you know you're going to grow a portfolio, which a lot of the Hong Kong guys that we've been dealing with the clients is they're not looking always to just buy one. It's multiple across a time frame, and they want to continue to grow. So as you said, so I think having that structure, and obviously for us, we've got the contacts in place to be able to do stuff like that. Yeah,
for sure. And again, coming back to the conversations we've been having with the Hong Kong investors, they are definitely more open to sort of changing the strategy in a sense to follow the returns. Like we always say, you have to be fluid, you have to be flexible, you have to adapt, you have to be versatile to make sure you can follow the returns and get sort of the best for the money you're putting in. So we've got that development in Wakefield, for example, where it's a commuter location, which they're not always too familiar with. Obviously, Wakefield is commuter distance to Leeds, and you can get to Sheffield as well, which they know. When you say Wakefield, they say, well, where's Wakefield?
Yeah, where?
And then you show them, you explain. But when you're explaining to them why the formula for that particular development and investment stacks up as a good investment, especially for the medium to long term, they get it straight away. And we're seeing a lot of interest in that. I mean, obviously the exclusive discounts we have has been helpful for that. But it's refreshing to see them willing to adapt, because I think probably for the past maybe 3-4 years, it was just Manchester. Pretty much just Manchester.
Yeah,
a bit of Birmingham.
Main tier cities, right?
Yeah,
not really the secondary. As we said, we've seen a massive shift, as you mentioned, like Wakefield, where investors are. When you're looking at the fundamentals of the investment case, as we said, if there's growth going on in the area, we've seen that. Because as we said, I mean, some of the secondary tier cities that we've been dealing with are performing better than the city centres, right?
Well, I believe, was it today or recently, had some data come through, and the likes of, funnily enough, Wakefield was up there in terms of very good positive growth. Halifax, where we've got Wilson's Mill, the development there. So these locations are performing a lot better at this moment in time in the market. And again, we've spoke about this before on previous episodes. Due to the affordability, the fundamentals that's going on in those locations, they're just performing better than others at the moment, which is really good to see. And we do see that continuing as well. So it's positive from that side. But they're fully taking it on board, and obviously we can back it up with the data as well, which gives them peace of mind when they're looking at these investments. And it's really, really good to see. I
think as well, something that I've been quite surprised at as well, that a lot of the Hong Kong investors, like in terms of the price points of the UK properties, it's very different for them. So they're quite used to quite expensive options within central Hong Kong. So coming to the UK market, they, even with Manchester a couple of years ago, it was so affordable for them to invest there. Whereas, as you're saying now, Toby, like the Wakefields, these sorts of areas, Halifax, it's for them, it's generally really well priced. And they sometimes can't believe how good the returns are. Which has been really, really good. But as I said, it's been a really, really insightful trip into obviously learning even more about the Hong Kong investors.
That's actually, on that point, that's what they definitely noticed about Dubai. Because they would ask us, obviously, when they would sort of be inquisitive about the Dubai market, they would then say, well, what sort of prices are there? And you'd explain to them, and they'd be like,
shocked again.
Really? They'd be like, no, I thought it was much more expensive than that. And you're like, no.
They compare it to a luxury lifestyle, don't they?
Well, it is. I mean,
it is when you go there.
That's the thing. And I think it's definitely a misconception that they have, and a lot of people actually have with the Dubai market. So that was actually quite funny to see their reactions when we were telling them the prices, and they were very, very shocked. And again, they learned about the payment plans when they found out about that. That obviously made it attractive for them as well. So I do think we'll see more appetite coming from here for the Dubai market. I mean, predominantly it's always going to be the UK, just because they know the UK market very well. They've definitely got a good presence in the UK market when it comes to buying investments. But I do think we'll see a lot more shift and start inquiring and potentially investing in Dubai as well, which is again exciting for the Dubai office.
Yeah, I agree. I think, as you said, that as I said, they like to be able to shift and diverse the portfolio. So I agree, Toby. I think as Dubai continues to have much more of a presence within the worldwide market of quite a good presence, which it is gaining, we are going to see more and more investors, not even from Hong Kong, but also we've seen it massively from some of our overseas buyers. They're even interested in it, whether that be clients in Africa or even in the US, they're
Yeah.
kind of really showing interest now into Dubai. So it's exciting. It's good that luckily we have the options within both markets and
Yeah.
our feet on the ground within the UK and Dubai, which is, it's good to have an option. As I said, I think it's not only the Hong Kong investors, but we're finding a lot of the UK investors as well are looking to diversify their portfolios, look at options elsewhere as well. So yeah, I think it's exciting. And yeah, as a whole.
Overall, it's been a really good trip so far. I mean, we've
Agree.
got 2 days left again, back-to-back meetings, which is good to see. We'll try and enjoy some nice food.
Got a meeting shortly, haven't we?
Yeah, we have actually got another meeting shortly, which we've got to get across town to that. But yes, so what's been your favourite part of the trip so far?
I would say, in terms of from a client perspective, obviously meeting the clients, because it's always really nice to have a conversation with people that are just as interested in property as you are. So it's always good to have that. I think it always keeps things, keeps you motivated, always interested about the markets, and I think a lot of them have found how knowledgeable that we are as well, and they've really found that helpful. So I would say the general conversations that we've had on a one-to-one basis, as well as the food.
I knew you were going to say the food. Which food? Was it the snake soup?
I wouldn't say that was my favourite.
I thought it tasted alright.
It tasted alright.
It was just like a nice chicken soup, to be fair.
But that's one thing I have noticed is the food is very nice here.
That's why you want to visit here so often. I thought your favourite part would have been the drunk passenger on the plane that nearly got our flight.
Yeah.
Grounded.
Yeah, that wasn't the
That
most
was fun for you, wasn't it? You had a really good time?
Well, you weren't anywhere near there, were you? So
yeah, no, I was a bit further down.
You're at the front of the plane.
I wish I was at the front of the plane.
But yeah, no, unfortunately, just to give an insight to listeners, we had a bit of a drunk passenger on the way there.
No, don't associate them. Not we. Like, we didn't. There was. Make it sound like we brought the drunk passenger on the plane.
We didn't know
no
them.
chance.
Nearly got the flight turned around, which I think a lot of people on the flight wouldn't have been happy with.
I had
especially
no idea.
after it was about 6 hours in, so we were at least halfway there.
And you said she was hurling abuse, and then I think she passed
wanted
out.
One more drink.
She wanted one more drink.
They wouldn't serve her any alcohol. They served her unnoticed, and they'd literally said to her as well, if we're going to have to land the plane if you carry on like this. And she said land it.
Wow.
So yeah,
just land it.
Yeah, just land it so she can get off and get a drink. Everyone on the plane, I'm pretty sure, wouldn't have been happy with that.
But she had a little snooze, didn't she?
She went to sleep, woke up, and was as quiet as a mouse. There's nothing come out of the mouth as soon as we landed. So But yeah, I think the journey. To be fair, we had to warrior through it. To be fair, the next day we went straight into meetings, didn't we?
We did, yeah. So we to give context, we took off 11 a.m. UK time on the Tuesday. With the time difference, obviously, we landed in Hong Kong 7 a.m. on the Wednesday. Got straight from the airport to the hotel, refreshed, and straight out to meetings.
Yeah. So we basically missed the whole day of sleeping.
But that was due to the fact we were supposed to have that day as a bit of like a refresh, relax.
Yeah.
Obviously, get back to some sort of sleep and normality to get ready for the meetings. But we had so much demand.
Yeah, so much.
We had to start taking meetings on the day, which it's
quite
a good
a few
thing
as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we.
You still had time to play tennis.
Yeah, so to give an insight, I went and played with one of the team members, Wing, who I'd like to say is basically a professional. He absolutely wiped the floor with me.
Yeah, it's not hard though.
Sorry?
I said, it sounds like you did really well.
No, it was good. It was good. And it was obviously nice to play. It's just so crazy, like being over here, there's so many obviously high, tall buildings around you, so you're literally playing in the middle of the city, which is really, really cool. Which in the UK, obviously from where we're from, it's very, very different.
No, that's good. I'm glad you got to do that actually, while I was stuck in meetings.
But anyway, been a great episode.
No, it has, and it's really nice just being out here and obviously doing the episode from Hong Kong, and just we want to take this episode to give some insight to what we're doing while we're out here.
I think it's good as well to document different things that we're doing, not always the same thing. Obviously we're always giving insight to the property market, but to show what we're up to as well. Yeah,
exactly. It's good for the listeners to know what we're doing, what we're up to, find out what other investors are talking to us about as well. I think that's quite helpful and insightful, because it may be the same, maybe different to what
of
investors back in the UK are thinking, or investors in Dubai, wherever it may be, in any of our offices. So yeah, it's good. And then watch this space when we have our next event.
Yeah,
we'll probably come back here, do another
maybe
episode.
do a podcast just before to give people an insight if they do want to come along, or if they're in the area, if they be travelling for business, or if they're expats, as you said, or people that are locals as well.
And to our listeners as well, as you said, if you're based in the UK, Hong Kong, or Dubai as well, we've got the offices. Utilise them. If you want to come see us face to face, if you want to have a chat, wherever, even if it's just general chat about the general property market, wherever you want to talk about property wise, just like get in touch, and we're always happy to do so. We're here to assist, and you might as well make the most of us.
Absolutely.
Right, I think we should wrap that up there, because we've got another meeting to get on to, so we can't be late for that. But thanks for joining us on this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.